What's going on? Shemaine Diamond K in here, of course. RadioFire.com, the Diamond K Show.com. And as 2020 continues to move on and slowly get to the point of some kind of end, things are still moving as far as the COVID-19 relief package. So the House of Representatives has approved the $2,000 checks that the Democrats have been pushing for, and Trump just recently got on board with, allegedly. I mean, I say allegedly because, who can really believe anything that this guy says, right? You think Melania believes when Trump says, I'm just golfing with the boys? You think she believes him? You can't believe anything Trump says, right? He's a proven liar. But anyway, the House has voted overwhelmingly today to increase the COVID-19 relief checks to $2,000. And some Trump supporter, told me yesterday, Republicans don't oppose the $2,000 amount. Then who opposes it? Of course they oppose it. It's kind of funny when you think about the fact that some people are supporting Trump. They don't even understand what they're supporting. They're claiming they'll vote Republican. They don't even understand what they're voting for. So anyway, Trump has, after months and months of saying that the $1,200 was too much and they didn't want to give the Americans relief. After all that time, sending his homie Mnuchin to help negotiate this deal. Right? After all these months, the reason why we're at $600 is because Republicans didn't even want to give the American people that much. Right? Democrats wanted more. Republicans wanted less. They ended up with a compromise, which is $600. Trump was someone who was for that amount. He was so angry at Nancy Pelosi that he sent somebody else because he couldn't talk to her no more. You remember when she kind of had that photo op where she just seemed like she was just like grilling him? They ain't talked since then. All right, so he sent Steve Mnuchin to negotiate with her. They came up with this, and nobody liked everything about it because it's negotiations, give and take. You do something, I do something, and that's how you get where we are. Anyway, so then he turns around over the holiday weekend and says, $2,000. It blows the whole thing up, right? And he could have done this from the beginning had he been checked in, right? But he was checked in because he sent someone down there. He did this because he knows that it's just going to cause confusion. And he's on his way out, so he wants to continue to cause confusion. It's not a genuine request. It's not. Because if it was a genuine request, he would have done it earlier and would not have opposed when Nancy Pelosi made said request. If he was genuine. So anyway, as we proceed, so he made this demand for these bigger payments, and that's his demands. And of course, Democrats love this. If we can get more money in the hands of Americans, even if Trump comes on and co-signs it disingenuously, if it really happens, then it's fine. But I want to make sure that people understand it's disingenuous on behalf of Trump. So Democrats led the passage in the House, 275 to 134. Their majority favoring additional assistance, more money for the American people. Now, dozens of Republicans suddenly joined in approval. Is this going to make a difference? I don't know. Democrats, as I said, favoring bigger checks. Congress had settled on that very small, smack in the face $600 in a way to compromise over the very large year end relief bill that Trump reluctantly signed. And the thing that really frustrates me is that somebody has to get the shaft. Somebody has to get the worst end of the deal. Why does it have to be the American people every time? But that's what it is. American people get the shaft, aka $600. Why we have to get the worst end of the stick? The people that you send to DC. That's why it's so important. That's why it's so important who we vote for. Things like this. When people tell you that voting is important, these are examples of why voting is important. So, Democrats favored bigger checks. Congress settles on this $600. And the president's GOP allies opposed more spending. And Trump's alleged push to get Americans this $2,000 puts them in a difficult spot. Because as I've said, and I said it yesterday, Republicans don't want the American people to get this money. Why? Because they'd rather money go in the supporter, in their special interest. If you're, Kelly Loeffler or Dave Perdue, you're crooked. So you don't want the money to go to the American people. That's the last place they wanted to go. The same reason why restaurants rather throw their food out than give it to homeless people. I don't understand this concept, but it comes from the same place. So the vote was a very stunning turn of events from just days ago, when House Republicans blocked Trump's demands on a Christmas Eve session. Trump spent days angry from his private club in Florida, where he is spending the holidays. Dozens of Republicans preferred to link with Democrats rather than buck the outgoing president. Interesting. Will this benefit the American people? Not if Mitch McConnell has anything to say about it. So senators are set to return to session tomorrow, and they're going to be forced to consider this measure amid very, very extreme Republican divisions. They're not all on board with this. Now, them doing a symbolic vote in the House just to have it shut down in the Senate is what I'm expecting. So the showdown between Republicans in the Senate, and the Senate is controlled by Mitch McConnell and his cronies. So the showdown could end up as more symbolic than actual substance, right? All sizzle, no steak. Mitch McConnell has declined to say publicly how the Senate will handle the bill. Democrats want to push it forward and push it to a vote tomorrow. But Mitch McConnell has never been one to think about the American people. There is strong support for these emergency checks of $2,000. Every corner of the country wants them. But Mitch McConnell, as I said, this package is a $900 billion package, COVID aid, and $1.4 trillion to fund the government agencies. So it's also going to deliver some long-needed cash to businesses and individuals. It's going to avert the government shutdown that would have taken place tonight in the midst of a public health crisis. So I am glad that things are going forward. I do not believe that the Senate is going to push this through. But the outcome will define Trump's Republicans. Putting a spotlight on the Georgia runoff election, which we've talked about extensively, which is next week. Where did that time go? It's next week, January the 5th, where two crappy Republican senators are in the fights of their political lives against two Democrats. Some races that have really jumped to the forefront of the country. So I'm excited about that. Aside from the direct $600 to most Americans, the COVID-19 portion of the bill revives a weekly pandemic jobless benefit boost, money for unemployed people. This time it is just $300, and that's going to go until March the 14th. What is so crazy, and I say it over and over and over again, these Republicans get in office, and then they act like this is not the money of the people. So when you have all this foreign aid, you have aid to the military, different agencies and spending money on different things, anything but helping the American people. And they sit high and mighty and do this with a straight face. These Republicans do this. And it is very disappointing, and it is time for them to be held accountable. Time for them to be held accountable. And they talk about, this is Republican Representative Mo Brooks of Alabama. He's a conservative who supported Trump's, futile challenge to the election results. All right, counted himself Monday among the opponents of more money and Trump's calls for higher payments to the American people, mind you. So this Republican, Mo Brooks of Alabama, he says that it's money we don't have. We have to borrow to get, and we can't afford to pay back. Oh, but you will do this for other things. But for the American people in the midst of a pandemic, when you yourself, Mo Brooks, has wasted the American people's money with this idiotic challenge of the election results, gone on to just completely muck up COVID-19 in your state, your constituents, then the result of that, one of the results of that, is the economy, is the loss of jobs. Oh, you don't have money for the American people. Yeah. So Republican Representative Elsie Stefanik of New York said she was open to the idea of $2,000 checks. Many Americans are in dire need of relief, she said on Fox and Friends. And Mo Brooks was on Fox and Friends also, talking out of both sides of his neck. According to the AP, these Republicans really burn me up. The amount of money that has been wasted in over-bloated budgets for Donald Trump and giving the American people $2,000. Oh, we don't have money for that? That is crazy. That is crazy. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, at The Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire. Of course, I am here daily, 7 a.m., 7 p.m. You can catch episodes of the show anywhere you get your podcast. Just search The Diamond K Show. And so as this continues, I will be back tomorrow for more of the program. And see you guys then.